Welcome to the Nicole Small Show, where we give you straight talk with no chaser. Here, we discuss issues from the White House to your house. And now, here's your host, Nicole Small.
Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday. I don't know. Is today the 21st? Yeah, today is the 21st. Monday, June 21st. So a couple of things we're going to talk about. I want to start the conversation with going through how the money is proposed to be spent by the city for what is this, the ARP funds? And I hate calling it ARP, it's American Rescue Plan, because I think that Detroiters don't realize that this money is actually federal dollars, supposed to be stimulus dollars that that the president approved to give to all these cities across the country, well, states around the country, and then they allocate so many dollars for each city. I say all of this to say that this is federal money that is supposed to be used to fill in the gaps from, hold on, gotta get this straight, to fill in the gaps for, the deficit because of the pandemic. And so it's really important that we understand why we're getting this money. This money is not money that, the city did such a phenomenal job of coming together, of going to the, what do you call that, to the White House to bid on dollars to help get some assistance. There are cities all across this country that are getting this money. So with that said, this money has been allocated for us, because of the number of us who live here and things of that nature. Let me see. Can you see me now? Okay. I think here we go. Somehow, some way. Yeah. So because of us, and I feel that some Detroiters think, oh, well, this is money just from the city, or because, the mayor and his administration did such a phenomenal job of going to get us some dollars. And I'm like, no, that's not how we receive the money. So please understand, we're not the only city that is getting this money. Here's the problem. While we may not be the only city that are getting these dollars, we seem to be the only city without a doggone plan on how to use it in the best interest of the people, how to use the money, period. So what the mayor has done is he's come up with this proposal. Let me say that, I'm going to hold 25 meetings and I'm going to allow for Detroiters to pick from these certain buckets. You know what? Really? Why are you calling me? And that just really pisses me off. And I'm on this show, Gary Hunter. What was I saying? So yeah, it's not because so what the mayor has done is he's giving these buckets, right, for you to use this money. And it's interesting how one of the buckets is intergenerational poverty something. And like, I just saw one of my opponents using that. I'm like, so really, you gonna use this same proposal that the mayor is using, which is some bull crap, right, on your literature or in your speech, saying that this is what you want to do? What is that? What is intergenerational poverty, wealth or gap, or what does that mean? What does that mean? That is so broad. That means that they could take that money and use it just for a specific family. Like, we really need to be careful about how people are proposing how to use money that is supposed to be there to help fill in the gaps for what I want to say. So like, whatever financial gaps that we have within the city. So personally, this money should just come directly to the neighborhoods, right? And not to these frauds in the neighborhood claiming that they have organizations and that they're going to use the money directly in our neighborhoods to fix the problems, right? That we've been complaining about for years and decades. Instead, that money will go, the majority of it will go to their administration costs. No, that's not how the money's supposed to be used. We should be proposing how to see the money used directly in our neighborhood. That's going to be best for us. A couple of things I want to let everybody know. Let me back up a little bit. So we are, I don't know, 40 days away from the election. Again, thank you so much for all of your support. And I know some of you have seen it, that my opponent, Janae Ayers, has a billboard that says, Janae Ayers puts Detroiters first. Well, isn't that interesting, seeing how Nicole Small has been using that tagline since she's been running, that she's putting Detroiters first. Well, y'all already know her voting record. I mean, I'm just saying, you got all of Duggan's money. Can't you be original? So I have seen it. I know some of you have seen it, and you have reached out to me. So thank you for that. Who is this calling now? Folks get on my nerves. But we are going to continue to move forward. We do have quite a few events, especially this week. So today I have one at 9:30. Tomorrow I start at like 7:30 tomorrow. Isn't that crazy? So the campaign is ramping up. I appreciate all of you who are being very patient with me. We 43 days away from the election. So with that said, understand why you're hearing so much about these American Rescue Plan dollars. Now, don't you remember for the last couple of weeks, I was telling you, I felt like the first round of money had already been here. Well, sure enough, it is. $424 million is here. Now, this is the part I want y'all to listen to. Listen clearly about how the city is going around in these meetings proposing on how to use this money. Keep in mind, the mayor has been holding meetings asking, how do you want to see this money used? Do you want it to go from home repair? Do you want it to go for broadband? Broadband. Isn't that what we put in the charter that he said that he was opposed to? Remember? Home repair. Haven't we been screaming that you need to give us more money in the home repair grant program, not this loan garbage that you keep trying to push? How you gonna tell us to go take out a loan when the dollar's supposed to be there for us to access as a grant in the first place, right? So now what he says is nothing but smoke and mirrors, because listen to what he's having you so actively engaged in these 25 meetings about how to use this money. Now here we go on how he really proposing to use this money. I told you $50 million was supposed to go into, is being proposed to go into where? The Joe Louis Greenway. Now again, you guys know where they tore down Joe Louis Arena. They want to extend the Riverwalk through to that other side, so through Joe Louis Arena. Why would we spend $50 million of federal dollars that has been given to us to help do what? Supplement the deficiencies in our budget, right? Because we did lose 70 million. Now, oh, that's another thing. Now they claiming that we done lost so much more money in the we have a larger deficit in the city. Well, I just bet we do. I'm not concerned about nothing but the general budget. You figure it out the best way you can, considering how you still been giving away contracts and everything. And when it comes to neighborhoods, didn't you just hoodwink these folks into supporting proposal in? So be careful. So here it is. $50 million will go into the Joe Louis Greenway. Let's talk about that particular site. Joe Louis was torn down. Why? Because the Illiches wanted to build a new arena on Woodward, which is the Little Caesars Arena. The Little Caesars Arena, City Council voted to approve. They were like, I don't know, $200 million in debt when the Joe Louis Arena was torn down. City Council forgave that debt, allowed them to move down the street on Woodward, build another arena. Now, when we had Joe Louis Arena, don't forget, Coleman had already negotiated. I believe that's when Coleman was in office. We already were getting like 20% off of parking, advertisement, concession stands, different things like that, right? Will come into the city out of whatever money that they made. That's a great deal. Like, the city of Detroit should be able to make some profit somehow, right? So fair exchange is no robbery. So now you're gonna have this arena, you're gonna operate it, and you know they received the land at a cheaper cost. Like, these are the deals that you should be making as the legislative body, right? But even though he was the executive branch, well, these are the deals that you should be approving. Well, things have changed. So they allowed the Illiges to walk away with all of that debt, build a new arena, and then they didn't even ensure that we were going to get any of these benefits. We don't get any of percentage of the parking, anything off the concession stands. We don't get anything from Little Caesars Arena but some empty parking lots, and they were supposed to be affordable housing. Remember that whole deal? We're going to get affordable housing and we're going to get jobs. Well, the jobs didn't go to most of us in the city of Detroit. They went to others. The contractors who already had their suburban employees were able to bring them in. And of course, they got the majority of the jobs, right? So that's just a stupid deal. I don't care how you look at it and unpack it. It's just dumb. Right? We just gonna hand over everything to them. We let them walk away with debt, and then we hand something. We let them get an arena and land for pennies on a dollar, and then most of the jobs go to somebody else. And this is the same song and dance to kill me, like how they forgave $1.8 million in property taxes. They always forgiving somebody's debt except for Detroiters, right? They don't want to forgive your debt when they owe you money on property taxes, but they could forgive somebody else's debt. And don't give me that garbage about how it goes over to the county. Forgive the debt before it goes to the county. How about that? You could do that. You can forgive the debt of property taxes of Detroiters before it goes to the county. Why not? Detroit has become the path to least resistance, because everybody else can come in here and just get whatever they want and they could benefit. So I'm telling you all of this so you understand how they're going to use that money. So you allowed the Illiges to walk away with almost $200 million of debt for that site. Why would you take $50 million out of our federal money in order to extend the Riverwalk? What the hell is the Riverfront Conservancy doing? They always raising a ton of money. Excuse me, about to call it something else. They always raising a ton of money at the Riverfront Conservancy. You could tell them. And I thought we already had money allocated in capital investments. Remember that? Hey, use that money, but don't come use our money that needs to be creating a safe walking path right outside our door in our neighborhoods. How about you put that money into our sidewalks? How about you do something to maintain these trees? How about this? How about you give us some adequate lighting so it's not pitch black? And I forgot to call because my street light is out. So that's going to be another thing that I'm on. So $50 million for the Joe Louis Greenway. That's where downtown, right off the riverfront. That's how they want to use your money. Is it 20 million or 26 million in streetscapes? They claim, now listen, out of almost $1 billion, because this is another thing you never hear them talking about. We got the 860 million coming from the federal government and American Rescue Plan dollars. Do not forget, there's another $180 million that they keep forgetting to talk to you about that we just received this year. That's for neighborhood improvement. So we just not going to talk about that money? See how they have distracted you to just focus on this American Rescue Plan? I don't know about you, but I don't think a city this large can afford to leave another $180 million on the table. Just don't add up to me. Why we don't hear anything about that? Not one word, right? Okay. So out of almost $1 billion, they only want to put $100 million, $100 million into restoring neighborhoods. This city is 39 square miles, and you only want to put $100 million into restoring neighborhoods. Pay attention. Pay attention. Only $100 million. So you mean to tell me that if you divided that up, it's a neighborhood in every district, right? And we have 7 districts. You're going to divide up $100 million out of $1 billion to restore neighborhoods. What neighborhood? Because last time I checked, all of our neighborhoods don't look like Indian Village and Palmerwood, and they need some work over there too. I've been walking the neighborhoods. They sidewalks look raggedy too. They ought to be big mad. They ought to be the ones leading this this whole pushback. Sidewalks crumbling in some of those areas. You paying more than like $6,000-$7,000 a year in property taxes. You gonna let this joker hoodwink you and take $50 million and put it into the Riverwalk? Only $100 million. Listen, just listen to this. $100 million they want to propose to restore neighborhoods, but they want to put $50 million into downtown to extend a freaking Riverwalk, where you usually harassed by Dan Gilbert's police if it's too many of us congregating or too loud. Think about that. They want to put half of what they want to put into the neighborhoods across the entire city and to extend the Riverwalk from where it stops right before Joe Louis Arena. So when you pass Cobo, and they want to extend it to the Joe Louis Greenway. Joe Louis was a big arena, don't get me wrong. But God dog, it ain't going that far across. You're going to take half of what you want to spend in neighborhoods across all 7 districts, and you want to put that into extending the Riverwalk. This is why I keep telling you they not for you. I don't care if you have 5th grade level of education. You know that this math does not add up. Half of the money they want to spend on the extending the Riverwalk, instead of taking this money and putting it across the neighborhoods. Just go ahead and process that. Improve public safety. Here we go. $50 million. Don't we have the highest crime rates around here? Don't we have the highest crime rates around here? It's true. I don't care how they try to redo the stats and everything like that. So you only want to put $50 million into improving public safety across all 7 districts. It's not a district in this city that does not need to improve public safety. We need a decrease in crime and an increase in public safety. $50 million. Why is it that all of the real needs in the neighborhoods are only getting a crumb of this money? $50 million. So they want to spend just as much money to extend the Riverwalk as they do for public safety across all 7 districts. Across all 7 districts. $50 million to extend the Riverwalk and $50 million for public safety. This is just interesting. But see how they put up all of these nice presentations, and some of y'all be falling. Good job. The mayor gonna let us get some money. Okay. Let me keep going. Reduce the digital divide. $50 million. Now let me tell you what is so interesting about this $50 million to reduce the digital divide. You know, when the City Charter Commission came out with their proposal about reducing the digital divide, you know, the mayor came out with all of these lies saying that we wanted to give all of y'all free Wi-Fi, which is written nowhere in the charter revision. But if we did, he said it would cost $13 million. It would only cost $13 million to give everybody in the city free Wi-Fi. But this say $50 million on here. And that's just to reduce the digital divide. Hell, we would eliminate it if you gave everybody free Wi-Fi. Am I not correct? Everybody getting free Wi-Fi in Detroit would just end the digital divide, because we would all have free Wi-Fi. Isn't that what that means? Isn't that what that means? But now it's going to cost $50 million. Okay, which I believe that's probably a more realistic number. But they're not even talking about giving everybody $50 million, free Wi-Fi for this $50 million. And how long you gonna keep telling us that you gonna bridge the digital, close the digital divide in the city? Wasn't we told that when they tore up the Woodward streets to build that wire line, that choo-choo train that don't even work? Remember, we was gonna lay all these fiber optics and everything was going, make sure that people in the surrounding neighborhoods had access to free Wi-Fi. Remember, they told us that. See, this is the problem. Y'all forget what they say. I don't. Y'all forget what they say. But what did we get out of that? A lot of black businesses was put out because they did what? Tore up Woodward for miles and miles. It's funny how in cities that really care about having a sustainable business corridor, like I keep saying, downtown Birmingham, they tore up old Woodward, but they didn't tear up old Woodward for miles and miles. They only tore it up in sections, so all of the businesses wouldn't get hit at once, but not here. Y'all let this joker come in here and just shut everything down. As soon as he rebuild it, if some of y'all have been able to survive, you up there like up on Woodward with all of his signs in front of your business, you know what? You must be a sucker to the end if you got a business on Woodward and you let Mike Duggan put a sign up there. I just can't even believe it. He basically shut your business down and you let him put a doggone sign up there. You know what? Your standards are a little too low for me, but I'm not even going to get on them folks because you know who you are. Just foolish. I bet you if Kwame was in office, Kwame couldn't even get up there without y'all cussing him out and going off and everything if he would have did that to your business. Just foolish. Foolish. Here we go. Small business assistance. Now listen, I asked a lot of questions about this on a call. $26 million they want to put into small business assistance. And I want to be the first to say, I really support us having more investment into our small businesses in the city of Detroit, but in a very meaningful and intentional way. This is where we're going to get screwed. If they put only $26 million, which is just a drop in the bucket, into small businesses across this city, what's going to happen is that there are no safeguards, there are no language that really talks about which small businesses would have access to this money. So what I fear is that because you don't have any language, any clauses in here that state that, we will have, I think it should be Detroit businesses owned by Detroiters first. I think they definitely should get priority. How long are we going to continue to afford all of these amenities and access to funding to these new businesses? Most of the business owners don't live here. If they do have a place here, their address is not listed in the city of Detroit. There are a lot of things to take a look at, and they're not. To have $26 million to go into small businesses, I would support that. They really need more money to go into small businesses. I'm just being honest with you. But the problem is that a lot of these small businesses that have been here to hold the city down in these communities, when nobody else even wanted to touch this city, I'm quite sure they are not going to receive the love that they deserve. And they're talking about putting this money into what? Motor City Match. You know how I feel about that Motor City Match. I tried to tell y'all when they first was coming out that this wasn't nothing but a scam. So just process this right here. You taking federal money from the government to put into a coffer, a program that has been what? Questioned by the government about whether or not they compliant and they using the money right. Don't y'all remember that story about Motor City Match and they funding? So you gonna take some federal dollars and put it into a program that's been flagged by the federal government. I can't make this stuff up. I can't make it up. I cannot make this up. You gonna take federal money, federal dollars that's supposed to be here to help get us back on track. That's what you're gonna do. You're going to take those dollars and you're going to put it into a program that's been flagged by the federal government. How that work out? How does that work out? $26 million. Y'all have to pay attention to how they talking about using this money. Now let's get a little bit more specific into how they're talking about using this money. Where is that at? Oh, so they want to double Motor City match grants by $8 million. This is the same program of how are you going to double the grant money? And first of all, let's just speak business one-on-one here. So they talk about that they'll match you up to $50,000. If I got $50,000 of liquid assets and cash on hand, why would I go through a doggone program that take people forever to get through, and they never had their stuff together, right? To get some money from you. I could go to the bank and get whatever I want with $50,000 cash on hand. $50,000. What small business, if you got $50,000 on hand, you couldn't go get you a loan, probably for a really good interest rate anyway, and you could get the money a lot faster, because by the time you go through Motor City Match, let's just be honest, your business probably gonna be on the downslope. Just, I mean, they just had an investigation. This is in January, on January the 4th, 2021. There's a Detroit News article about Duggan's Motor City Match program had excessive spending and lack of oversight. Every program that Duggan gets his hands on has what? Lack of oversight. Demolition, federal money, lack of oversight. Motor City Match, lack of oversight. Giving that money to make the date Duggan's girlfriend, lack of oversight. I mean, it's up. Look, when they built these doggone bike lanes, lack of oversight. It's always a lack of oversight when it comes to Duggan getting his hands on some free money and how it's spent. And he always find a way to blame it on the person who reports to him. But it's one thing in common, they all report to you. And it's always a lack of oversight. I'm just reminding y'all about this type of stuff because you seem to forget. And I need you to stop applauding and making these stupid comments on the doggone thing like we don't want better safety in our neighborhoods. That's what I kept hearing from people. You gonna tell the mayor that if you had to remove a bucket to use this money, that you don't want safer neighborhoods in a city with the highest crime rate. Make that make sense to me. Because it doesn't. That's what you want to tell him. Okay. Then they want to double Motor City Restore facade grants. $8 million. I do agree that some of these businesses definitely need a upgrade. You know what I mean? On what they look like. Some of them you like, man, they're not as appealing. So I can see you spending money, but $8 million. Okay. Build off-street parking lots on commercial strips. Now, I want to talk to you about this. You gonna tell me that you're gonna build off-street parking lots on commercial strips. Let's just talk about Livernois, because you know that's the picture that they have. Where you gonna build them? See, this is why I say them business owners up there on Livernois, you didn't let him come and dog walk you to the bone. Instead of you getting some diagonal parking in front of your business, like they have again in Birmingham, Royal Oak, Ferndale, and some places like that, you gonna let him build sidewalks that's a country mile wide? That's what we do. Where is your vision? Those sidewalks are beyond the space that you would need, even if you wanted a patio. They are. They got patios out there in Royal Oak and in other places, and they still have some of them had diagonal parking. Why couldn't those businesses get diagonal parking? And the reason why I bring that up to you, where will the parking lot go? So you all, I guess they're never going to give up their space on Livernois, right? I know New Prospect not giving up their space. And then the one space that we have been told for years of where they were going to build a parking lot was at 7 Mile and Livernois, if y'all remember that. Remember the old B Siegel, where now we don't know what it's going to be. We've been told several different businesses are supposed to come into that spot right there at the corner of 7 Mile and Livernois. It seems to be ready for people to have a turnkey and to go in there, but we don't even see anybody going into that option. And I just say that to say, so where are you going to build a lot on this corridor? Because those businesses do deserve to have more adequate parking. Now, see, it's summertime, so people will park further and they will come patronize your business. The problem that I have is the suffering that these businesses are going to endure come when we have inclement weather. So where are they going to build a parking lot over there for those businesses? And those businesses been hollering for parking for years. For years. And what they get, literally, y'all think I'm just joking. A semi truck can drive down those sidewalks and two semi trucks at once, and they wouldn't scratch any of the buildings. That's just absolutely ridiculous. And this is how they play the people. Oh, well, look at how much nicer it look, and look at the aesthetics. They would never allow that in the suburbs. They wouldn't. They wouldn't try it. And you surely wouldn't have a city council to approve this type of foolishness. Okay, now here we go. Now, I told y'all $50 million was going to go into parks, walking paths, and the Joe Louis Greenway. Anyway, the Joe Louis Greenway, that's where they're going to put it all, the $50 million. New or expanded recreation centers, $30 million. I wonder how much it costs to build like a new recreational center. I need to check into that, unless somebody on here knows, and y'all can drop it in the comments. But I just wonder, like, how many new recreation centers would we get out of $30 million? Now, I will say, based on a previous meeting earlier on, before they started talking about how to use this money, what is it? The Coleman A. Young Rec Center. Is it Butzel on Linden was another one? There were a couple of rec centers that they are doing some remodeling. I will say that. And I know that they're supposed to be doing a pool, if I'm not mistaken, the swimming pool at Coleman A. Young Rec Center. I bet that's going to cost a pretty penny, because that is a big pool. And that's okay, because if it needs to be updated, then go ahead and do the work. A lot of people will use that facility. So I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to investing in spaces that Detroiters actually use and that they need. There's nothing wrong with that. I just don't know how far $30 million would go for rec centers. And you know, what is it, District 7, and I just heard District 4, they don't have their own rec center. So I'm quite sure, I would assume, now this is just what I'm assuming, I might be assuming too much, that that's where we would get the new rec center. I hope that you're not going to build a new rec center in a district that already has a recreational center before you actually give those two districts that don't have a rec center their own recreational outlet. That's just a thought, but I might be asking too much. Arts and cultural investments, $20 million. So they're saying that they're going to use Charles H. Wright Museum, Historical Museum. This historical museum seems like they keep getting a lot of money. I need to double check that, because didn't they just get some money here recently? All right, Motown Museum. So this is what they're proposing from the city, okay, on how to use the money. Oh, okay, here we go. Now, y'all probably want to hear this. Grants to block clubs, neighborhood associations to improve vacant land from the land bank, $10 million. Say what now? Say what now? You gonna put $10 million into improving blight? $10 million. Didn't you just take out a bond for $250 million? And you only gonna give these neighborhoods. Now, y'all know how many neighborhood associations need some money to maintain these vacant lots, because you know who not maintaining them? The city. I was just thinking that you can take some money and to increase the number of times that you guys cut the grass on these vacant lots and on the median. How about that? I was thinking that you could take the money and create an actual program for each district to have a certain pot of money to go and to clean up all of this blight and this dumping, whether it's in the houses, because sometimes they have dumped so much stuff inside these houses. You can see it where they tore the door off the front. You can actually see the stuff coming towards the front of the house. And I don't care if they go back and they dirty it up. See, people want to say, well, all they gonna do is the people in the neighborhood gonna let it get back to what it is. First of all, here's a thought. You could stop coming to clean my doggone street and send somebody out to clean up the streets. I don't need a street sweeper. I need a street cleaner. That's what I need, okay? I don't need another street sweeper. I need a street cleaner. It's a difference. Why don't you invest money in that? Do something with the money where we can at least see some improvements in our neighborhood. Do that. Because really and truly, that's what city services are supposed to be about. And since you can use this money for city services like that, why not use it in a more meaningful way? Just a thought, again, just a thought. Home repairs for seniors, low income, disability community. Now, y'all already know how I feel that we definitely should have done this a long time ago. $20 million. And why is it that the money for home repair, see, that's not how they're proposing it when they talk to you on this ARP meeting. They claim put money into the home repair program. I agree with that. But this home repair is only going to be for seniors, low income, and disability community. And you only going to put $20 million. $20 million across 7 districts. So you only going to put like $2.4 million into each district for home repair. But you're going to put $50 million into the Joe Louis Greenway. I'm just saying. But you only going to put $20 million, not per district, because that's what you're going to need. Maybe they don't know how much a roof costs around here. These big old houses, maybe you don't know how much it costs to really get you a real new porch. Because maybe you don't know how much it costs to redo these windows or to blow insulation in these big houses so you can have a more affordable utility bill for your heat and gas. Who's coming up with this? Somebody who obviously is new to the city or doesn't live in the city. Obviously, that's the only thing I can think of. That's it. Vacant property cleanouts, $30 million. And this is going to be for 80,000 properties. Now pay attention. They're going to remove dead trees, collapse garages. Well, I'll be damned. You mean to tell me, as dirty as this doggone city is, as much debris as we see at these vacant homes, you only gonna use this money to remove dead trees and collapse garages? Let me tell you something about these dead trees. If you want your tree trimmed in the city of Detroit and you call the forestry department, like my tree was literally at the curb on the city property, I had branches that were almost gonna come back and touch my house, and I'm not the only one. So you mean, and you can't get, and when you call the forestry department, not just me, because we have been calling for years on my block, they tell you that if the tree not dead, that they don't have the resources to come out and address that issue. So here it is. That's the only way you can get any love out the forestry department right now. And so you're going to take $30 million to continue to remove more dead trees. People have no business having these dead trees falling on their houses, because that's where all of our city funding for that particular department is supposed to go anyway. So why do people have dead trees falling on their houses? I thought that that's all you could do right now is cut down the dead trees. So you're not doing that with the money that we're giving you. Again, lack of oversight from the mayor and the city council. See, they go hand in hand, because he makes this proposal to city council and then they approve it, right? And so down payment assistance for home ownership. I don't know how that works in the city. So see, like, I'm not gonna act like I understand something that I'm really not that knowledgeable about. down payment assistance for home ownership. Does any other city have this where they have down payment assistance that they give you to purchase a home? Because the people that I know that went through this home buying program through the city of Detroit, first of all, it was a long drawn out process. All they did was collect, for the most part, they collected your data, right? So they can go sell it to somebody else. And some of them ended up going through somebody else anyway, another entity, in order to get a house. But they want to put $15 million into that. You want to put $15 million, and there's nothing wrong with assisting people on how to get a home. But why don't instead you just partner with these home loan lending programs? And I'm not talking about what's the Dan Gilbert, Rocket Mortgage. I'm saying some other smaller banks or whatever that really understands the complexity and the challenges that a lot of people are having to purchase a home in the city of Detroit. Why don't you partner with them? I don't really understand the purpose of putting $15 million from a city, a local municipality, for people to be able to purchase a home. Who are these people? I want to know how many people were already native Detroiters who are benefiting from this program, and not new people coming in from outside the city. We have to take a look at how these dollars have been spent before, when they claim to have had allocated dollars for the same thing. For the same thing. If it's not going to help some of our people who have been living here for quite some time to be able to own a home, and it's really benefiting more people outside the city, which is most of the programs benefit new Detroiters more so than long-standing Detroiters. You'll find a few long-standing Detroiters, and that will be it, right? The next thing is streetscapes for neighborhoods and commercial districts. $20 million. They're going to put $20 million into streetscapes, but they're going to put $20 million into home repair. We need another streetscape. Now, we done told you we don't like them. We don't like you slapping up bus stops in the middle of the street. We don't like these bike lanes that people driving their cars down. We don't like them. Because I don't believe that was the way the bike lanes were intended to be designed anyway. Alley activation is $3 million. Neighborhood signs is $2 million. They're going to spend $2 million on new neighborhood signs. Okay. Expand the Community Health Corporation, $30 million. Well, that's interesting, but I wonder if that money gonna go to Make a Date Foundation again. That's just what I'm questioning. I'm just asking. Skills for Life Employment and Education Work, that's $40 million. Please understand, we pay who? Workforce Development. Workforce Development already has money allocated for that. They're going to pay 3 days a week to work, 2 days for schooling and training. Isn't that what the skilled trades is already doing? So we're going to take what has Workforce Development been doing with their money? Because I know that the mayor just allocated another $1.6 million. Remember, out of that CARES Act money that none of us had access to? They went to Workforce Development to go be social workers. Targeted Employment Wraparound Services. This is for 16 to 24-year-olds with criminal justice contact. $15 million. You know, this is almost laughable. Employ seniors as mentors to help families. You gonna pay some senior citizens to be mentors to help families $5 million? That's a social worker's job, isn't it? Why the state not pulling their money out to find, where is Wayne Metro? Where's the county dollars for this? So we gonna pay senior citizens. Listen, these seniors already got enough grandkids and kids and great grandkids that they probably need to tighten up their doggone self. And how many you gonna hire for $5 million anyway? This is my favorite, one of my favorites. Listen to this. Create a city locator to find affordable housing. $7 million. $7 million to hire somebody to locate the fact that there isn't any real affordable housing in the city of Detroit. Now look at that. In a matter of 3 seconds, I just gave you the answer. There isn't affordable housing in the city of Detroit. They want your arm and half of your leg to rent a house that's not even in good condition, habitable condition. And if you find one that is, they want your arm and both of your legs. So there isn't. Because affordable for whom? Affordable housing is supposed to be based off the needs of the majority of who? The residents in this city, which is Detroiters. So you're going to put $7 million into that. Okay. I don't understand how we're going to allow them to use these dollars in this way. And this is a waste of money. A lot of this money is for these newly created programs. And I guarantee you the people who are going to get these contracts are not going to be the people who are going to do the right thing. Let's take a caller. Thank you for being patient. Good morning.
Good morning, Nicole. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well.
I just want to say, everything you just said falls down to residency. The mayor doesn't live here. What do he care?
Good point.
And that's why I don't understand why the council would let something like this pass. He has never lived in the city.
Mm-hmm.
He continues not to live in the city. He doesn't care about what happens in the city. That's why he wants to give less money as possible and continue to build downtown. Because first of all, why you still saying the same thing? What you gonna do? This is what you've been saying since you've been elected. How you gonna city services? City services hasn't improved since you've been in office.
They really haven't. They really haven't. That is so. And
that's all I've got.
Don't forget, every neighborhood has a future. And I keep telling y'all, our future looking mighty bleak around here. Mighty bleak. But you're right. You're absolutely correct, Stevetta. Thank you so much for calling. Let me finish this up before I have to go. And we're going to continue to talk about this a little bit more, because what I want to do is to go out and show you. I had talked to Elena about going over there to that Joe Louis Greenway. I want you to be able to picture how they want to spend this money. So I told you create a city locator to find affordable housing. $7 million. They're going to probably get 2 or 3 people, and they're going to get a nice penny to tell you that there isn't any real affordable housing. Or it's going to be one newly rehabbed house on the block where it's only 3 other houses, something crazy. Property foreclosure prevention door-to-door outreach. $3 million. Why are we taking $3 million of our money to tell city workers to go do outreach? I thought Dan Gilbert had that on lock in the Wayne County Treasurer. Foreclosure prevention. Now, see, this is what I find interesting. Pay attention to the game that they play. When you're in jeopardy of foreclosure, isn't the issue always that, you know what? That's through the county. When we talk about them giving us tax credits or helping us offset some of this arrearage and property taxes, the city has nothing to do with that. That's the county. That's the county. Oh, I'll give you that. But here it is. You could take some money that can go into our neighborhoods where we really need it, right? And you're going to spend $3 million for door-to-door outreach. I didn't know you had that many city employees that you can afford to be going door-to-door for something that's already being done. I'm just asking. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Targeted employment wraparound services. We talked about that. And then they want to spend $26 million. Is this into bike lanes? And you know how I feel about the bike lanes. I just want y'all to want better. I want you not to be fooled. And I want you to know that all they're doing is wasting your damn time. Have you sit on these ARP meetings and chinning and grinning as if they really gonna consider some of the things that you said. Now, I will be transparent. On the call, I told them, how dare you put $7 million into a senior city locator for affordable housing when they don't have it. I told them we don't want another 20 million into streetscapes and 26 million into streetscapes and another 20 million into bike lanes. What a waste. And how insulting is it for somebody to come and build bike lanes and streetscapes when your sidewalk is crumbling right across the street or right around the corner. You know what, Detroiters, you should have higher standards and you should be sick of it. You should be sick and tired of it. But this is what they want to do with the $860 million. I want to know what happened to that other $180 million that they seem to forget to talk about. That's a lot of money for them not to address. That's a lot of money for them not to address. Another $180 million. That's how I keep coming to this almost $1 billion, this $1 billion that we have coming. I want you to be knowledgeable about the money that has come into this city because of those of you who live here. It's because of the population of Detroiters that we have that we receive more money than any other city in the state. It's because of the low tax base that we received more money than any other city in the state. The money is coming here because of you. I just want you to make sure that it works for you. That's all. You got to be able to get something out of this. And we need to pay close attention. And before you start allowing them to approve how to use this money, we need to know what contractors they have in mind. You know what's going to happen? It's going to be a majority of non-Detroit business owners who are going to get the majority of contracts, right? And they're going to take that money right back out to the suburbs. That's sad. Now, according to the mayor, they're not going to invest in libraries because libraries already have their own pocket of money. Now, I did reach out to someone on a library commission. Let me see. What did they tell me? Do they have because I wanted to know how much. Oh, they have to apply for the money for the library commission. Now, those of you, I know some of you were on that call when the mayor said we're not going to talk about there's already money allocated for the libraries. He said, and for the water. And for the water. And here it is. They're saying regarding the library getting some of these monies, these funds, that they just got the guidelines and the criteria for applying. So this money is not even already allocated. They still have to apply. And they said most of it will go towards upgrading technology in the libraries. So I don't know. I have to find out how some of the people more intimately involved in the library commission, how they feel about the dollars going towards upgrading the technology. Most of the libraries that I've been in here recently in the last couple of years, I feel that they're pretty up to date, but I don't know the overall conditions across this city. I mean, they've closed down a lot of the libraries. I would think it would go into opening those back up and having the supportive services and the staff to be able to keep them open. So that's what I have for today. We need to talk a little bit more about a robust proposal. And I keep telling you guys, like, we have to put something in writing on record on how we want this money spent before the mayor goes and picks off, and him and Scott Benson and the rest of them go picking off the people in their neighborhood who gonna do whatever that they say, and they gonna propose to blow this money up a horse's behind. Okay, it needs to be some real Detroiters who really understand the true needs in our neighborhood, so we make sure that we get some real improvements. We cannot continue in this manner. And this is too much money on the table. And if we allow them to take almost $1 billion and we don't benefit from it, shame on us. Because just shame on us is all that I can say. And we need to make sure we look out for those neighborhoods who have been overlooked for so many years. This is an issue. And senior citizens don't want you finding them no job to go mentor no troubled kids or whatever. That's not what they want. You know what senior citizens want? They want real affordable housing, okay? Senior citizens want to be able to go up and down the sidewalks and they hover around or in a walker, or even those who are just walking without having to feel like they climbing up a doggone mountaintop because the sidewalks are standing up. Senior citizens want real transportation like they used to have that accommodates their needs. That's what senior citizens want. What senior citizen, you gonna pay them to go and mentor? And I know he gonna get a couple of them to do a commercial, a PSA. Oh, I love my job, helping to give back to the community. Most senior citizens that I know already mentoring some people. So why are you going to take $5 million for that? Take that $5 million and put it into something the seniors need, and then add to that. You can double Motor City match money, but you can't double the resources for senior citizens and people with disabilities and low income. Get out of here with that. Shame on you. But this is how they treat you, because this is all that they think that you deserve. And where's the city council in this again? You got this mayor going around shucking and jiving these people about all of this money that's about to come in here. First of all, the proposals need to be going to city council anyway, not even the mayor, because they're the legislative body. And then they need to tell the mayor how the people want the money used. That's how this should go. But that would take a majority council with a backbone. That's a whole nother story. Okay, y'all, I have to go. I appreciate you. We will be back here tomorrow. Oh, how am I going to do that? I'm going to be out and about. We'll figure it out. So you'll probably see me out in the streets tomorrow doing this show. That's probably how this one is going to have to go, because I have to get started early. I appreciate all of you. I will be back here tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Be safe.